Hey guys, Luck here. I've been getting a lot of requests to show the team that I got to Platinum Rank with when I was using a DoT, which is called Damage Over Time team. This is pretty similar to the team that I used, except for Nikki. I didn't have Nikki at the time, and I used another damage dealer like Lucian or the Fire Ifrit. Anyway, the idea here is that I am using the damage over time effects, especially Barata, to keep spamming that his skill to damage all my enemies and get them down. This team has a few things that you have to consider. So first of all, it's attacking everybody at the same time. So the front line will take longer to defeat than usual teams because usually front lines have higher HP. And secondly, if you are using Nikki, and she attacks the backline as well. So you have, on two counts, you are attacking their backline to take off all their HP. So most of the time, you might actually see their, not most of the time, but a lot of the time, you might actually see their backline going down before their front line. The team also has close calls because, as you can see, like my front line is getting, destroyed because like I don't have upfront damage. I am doing like AoE damage that's like trying to take out everybody slowly, but in the beginning, it doesn't really do well. It's only like kind of late game that the momentum builds up and I can take them all out. Like right now, it looks like it's a losing match, and on top of that, he does have Vusa, which is was able to get the immunity up so that I wasn't able to get my second cast of DOTs from the spell. But as you can see, like I keep trying. And so here he made a mistake where he was cleansing before my Rika spell went off, which was a game changer, I think. So you can see now that I have 3 stacks of DoT. I had Nikki's damage. I keep calling her Rika, but it's actually Nikki. So I had Nikki's damage go off, then I have the 2 stacks of DoTs, and then now I have stun. So basically, that's the idea. I'm just like continuously applying stacks of damage over time effects to take them out before they can do anything. And as you can see, their backline is pretty much dead. They have 2 left, like 2 units left on the front line. These 2 happen to be support units that I'm not really threatened by, but it could be like you might be left with somebody like Vusa, for example, or you might be left with some other tanks like Rakan. But yeah, this team does pretty well. I was able to win a majority of my matches, and as I said, I was actually using a weaker version of this. I was using a version with Lucian instead of Nikki. So this team now is actually even more powerful. So I have a couple more matches here where I show you how these matches work out, and then I have a 4th match. And in my 4th match, I built a team using no legendary at all. Like there was no legendary units in my composition, but it's the same idea. It is a damage over time team. And then I'm going to just show you what I'm doing here. So I can see that my opponent doesn't really have a way to remove DOTs, so I can stack them as much as I want. The spell choices that I'm using, I am using transfer because I see a lot of enemies either use DOTs as well or they have a transfer. So for example, if I apply a stack of DOTs and then they transfer it to me, I'm going to die from it. So by having a transfer myself, I can transfer it back to the enemies and I'll be okay. Or if they use, Barata and they apply a stack of DOTs, when I use transfer, it goes to them. It affects them again. So this match is actually really easy because he doesn't really have any way. Well, he has a little bit of a way to remove DOTs with one of his skills, which removes it. But he made a mistake and he used the skill before my DOTs went off. So again, a lot of this game actually comes out to when you counter, because if you counter at the wrong time, you are kind of screwed. And this was a very easy game to me because he mistimed his cast and he didn't have Vusa. Vusa is one of the best counters to this. Like if you see it being played a lot or if you see Vusas in the enemy comps, you have to think a little bit harder because you have to make sure you get your spells off when he's not countering. Because I have 2 different sources of DOTs, I have an additional advantage. So for example, I use Barata, he counters with Vusa, okay, fine. So I miss doing damage with my Barata, But then as soon as the immunity from Wusa goes off, I then use my Nikki's DOTs. So I have a secondary source of DOT because I have two different champions that can do it. In the last game that I show you, where I'm not using any legendaries at all, I'm using the bird Koniyama to apply a second stack of DOTs, because I use Barata and then I use Koniyama to reuse Barata's spell. And so if he has a Wusa, for example, I would use Barata. He uses Wusa to nullify the damage. I use Koniyama, I get Barata's card up again. As soon as his immunity wears off, I can use Barata. So that's the main idea. Here I can see that my enemy has, it looks like he's trying to kind of fighting like an AoE comp, because he has copper and he has another AoE damage dealer, and then he has defense down. So this is a pretty interesting comp. I think it's actually really powerful. But if he doesn't time his immunities properly, it's like I could easily win, I guess. So that's what I'm doing. Also, the reason that I'm using Swift Runes here is because I want to apply as many stacks of DOTs in the beginning as possible. And when the game starts, you have 8 units that you're cycling over. So by using Swift Runes on, I think I'm using it on 3 of my units, I'm able to cut the cost of mana to cycle through Barata's skill by 3, because I'm using 3 different units with Swift Runes. So it helps me get my combo up faster. And as you can see, like, he already has 4 stacks of DOTs. His units are dying pretty easily. So he uses Soul Cleanse, but I think it's a bit too late. I think the game is pretty much in the bag at this point. And okay, he happened to also resist Nikki's cast, but still, like, I've pretty much won this game. And you can see how powerful this is. It just wipes all your enemies at once. I think as the game progresses and more people build willed runes or resistant runes, this strategy won't be as powerful. But right now, it's really powerful, and it's really easy to build stacks. Not build stacks, but I mean build your rank and get to platinum, or at least gold, with this strategy. So this game is pretty much done. I'm going to go into the game that shows you how I built my team using only, not using any legendaries. So only using rare, normal, and heroic monsters. So this team actually doesn't have a huge win rate, especially at the rank I'm at, where I'm at platinum plus. I'm at 3200 rank right now, and I'm using this in normal battles. It's really hard to pull this off because I just don't really have the stats to compete with players, in platinum. This game I won, but I think I played this team like 5 or 6 times, and I only won once, and I guess that's the one I'm showing you. But the reason I'm showing you this is because, for example, maybe you don't have, Nikki, or maybe you don't have Poseidon, so you can still use different units that I'm using here to do the same kind of effect. So, for example, I'm using this guy to apply a stun that goes along with the DOT spam. So if you don't have Nikki, he might be another choice you can use. If you don't have Lucian, you can use that. If you have Lucian, maybe that's somebody you want to go with. So it all depends. You make do with the units that you have. If you have Wusa, I very definitely recommend that you use Wusa, because so many people are using Baratas and DOTs. So by having Wusa, you get a significant advantage against other teams that are using DOTs. But yeah, in this game, I pretty much won. Also, he had only one unit that can remove DOTs, and he didn't really use that effect much. But as you can see, I used Koniyama, and now I'm going to use Barata's spam a second time. So this is how this works. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you ideas. I know you guys asked when I was talking about how I was building my or how I was using Lapis in the late game and how powerful she is. I talked about using DOT spam to get to Platinum Rank, and so people were asking, how you do that, how does your team look like? So I wanted to show this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have other comments or questions, please leave them below. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Take care now.